On this week's episode, I'm joined by the hot goddess Natalie Wester. Natalie's originally from the US, is a former elementary teacher, a writer, and a blogger, and is living right here on Portugal's Silver Coast. We discuss, amongst other things, why she chose Portugal, why she feels at peace here, what she loves about the people, the ocean, the food, the wine, but mostly why Natalie has retired, rewired, and is inspired right here in Portugal. For those of you listening, head over to our YouTube channel to watch some of this episode. And for those of you watching, click down below and subscribe. And for the full podcast episode, head over to Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now over to my conversation with Natalie. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. And it's an honor, and I'm delighted to be joined by Natalie Wester, or otherwise known as the Hot Goddess. Natalie, thank you so much for being on the podcast. How are you?
Oh, Dylan, I'm great. And thank you so much for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our chat.
Likewise. Natalie, why don't you start off by telling us a bit about you?
All right, sure, Dylan. I'm a retired elementary school teacher, and I've spent the last 4 years reimagining midlife as a first-time around the world solo traveler, an over 60 whiskey distillery intern, and
Wow.
a writer, a blogger, solo expat, and encouraging midlife women like myself to give themselves permission to change the life they're living so they can live a life they love.
Natalie, how did your relationship with Portugal begin? How did that take us back to the beginning?
Yeah, so it began in 2019 when I retired, and I had researched places for American retirees to live abroad more affordably. And I was 59, and I had just decided, retiring a little bit earlier than expected, that I think I can do this, but let's see what my options are. And Portugal was at the top of the list. So I planned my 70-day around the world trip as a first-time solo traveler, just me and one carry-on bag. And Portugal was the first stop. And I stayed in Sesimbra for 30 days
Okay.
to see how I would like it. And I loved it. And I thought, all right, this will be a place for me to come back to maybe at 65. Maybe so in 5 or 6 more years, maybe I'll come back.
What were those things that stuck out for you with Portugal that brought you back?
So Portugal was where I decided that's where I wanted to move in retirement, maybe closer to 65. Um, what I was looking for, I wanted to be able to live on the ocean
Sure.
without, hurricanes and evacuation orders every year. I wanted a temperate climate. I don't like high humidity. I don't like the tropical climate, bugs the size of my head, and monkeys and snakes coming in the house. So I didn't want that. Uh, but yet I wanted to be right on the water. I wanted a mainland. I didn't want, I wasn't
Island.
sure how I'd feel about being on an island. And Portugal ticked all that off. And then top safest country, affordable health care, easy to get to. I mean, from New York to here, it's a direct flight, about 6 hours. So this is good. So it checked up all the boxes. So I decided I was coming back.
What do you want to say about? I mean, first of all, the Silver Coast in general. It's a part of Portugal that's not as well known. What do you enjoy about the region in general, Natalie?
What I love about the Silver Coast, especially where I am, is it's not crowded like the Algarve is. It feels like it's authentic. It's fabulous. I love it. I have been blown away by the kindness, muito simpático, that how beautiful the hearts are of the people here and my neighbors. I'll give you an example. I was here for 2 hours and needed to find a store, a grocery store. And so I started walking, but I got lost. I turned around and I saw a gentleman outside his home, and he had kind of a stern look on his face.
Yes.
And so I said, Boa tarde, fala English, and just not a super friendly look. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And he just, no. And so I was like, onde, and I'm trying to remember onde mercado, mini mercado. A key. I mean, you're just this broken, crazy, probably sound like a caveman talking. And he just got up and walked away. And I thought, oh my God, this is my worst nightmare. Dylan, he walked next door, got the lady next door who spoke English, brought her back to me, and she explained where to go. And she said, you can, in English, she said, you'll have all the essentials at this little mini market. It's not big, but you can get your essentials, bread, milk. And I said, y vino, like, and wine, like that's my essential right now. And then the guy who wasn't really smiling, just cracked up. He thought that was funny. And so then I'm like, oh, I've made like my two first friends. And so I found my way there, and I carry my bags back, which I overestimated my strength at walking back up there. These bags. And but there they are. And I put the wait, and they waved to me, and I'm like, this is like in the first 2 hours.
Your blog or your Instagram it handle is retired, rewired, and inspired.
Yes.
We've covered
Yes.
the retired part, so that's amazing. Congrats, and retiring earlier than what you thought you were going to. How is just explain a little bit about how Portugal is rewiring you.
Yes.
What's happening there?
So, coming to Portugal was part of my rewiring, my reimagining of midlife. And now that I am here, I'll have to tell you, Dylan, that I still pinch myself to remind myself, but you're not on vacation. You live here. This is your home. And it 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 gives you like a reset. Well, first it's coming from America, it was like a detox, and then it's a reset of of pace and frame of mind.
Moving to another country, and then especially like what you've done, where you've not moved to a big city, you've moved to somewhere a little bit quieter. The fear is I'm going to be bored. I'm not going to have enough to do. But I mean, you sound like you've got a lot going on, and you're not bored.
I am not bored, and I call myself a not shy introvert. So, I'm not at all shy, but I do need my recharge time.
Sure.
Being around people a lot of people can drain my energy, so I like my solo time. And I used to feel like I had to make excuses for that or apologies, but now, like, I'm living in Portugal, I can do what I want to do. So I'm going to just unplug for a minute. And so this is perfect for me. I spend my days taking classes online, writing, editing, and then walking. I have to build that into my day to get from point A to point B and exploring. And then if I'm traveling up and down, I use the bus, or every now and then I'll do the train, or a friend will rent a car and we'll go. But I don't know where the days have gone. I can't believe it's been 6 months. I definitely have not been bored.
What do you want to tell people from your home country or your countrymen? What just some tips that they can just to help them navigate a bit better and and and,
Yes.
and, and integrate a bit better
So
and make that transition.
the first thing is really what you just said. Like, realize you are not in America, and if you want things to be that way, then stay there. This is not. You're in a different country, so to realize that, um, to understand that you will need to give up some control because it's a different timetable here, and but to understand that it'll happen, but it probably not on your time frame. Remember, from 1 to 3, things will be closed. And
For lunch? Yeah, 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 yeah.
yes, understand that. And that's just how it is. Like, and then get used to and embrace the slower pace. And because that's the good side of being here. So that is huge to me. Like it's leave the American mindset there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
come here knowing that it's going to be a more relaxed.
Natalie, what's one thing that you want people to remember and take away from our conversation? Just one thing.
One thing is to give yourself permission to change your life, to live a life you love, and right here in Portugal.
Natalie, a question that we ask all of our guests: Portugal, the simple life. Why?
There's no better place to be for people, weather, safety, love, peace of mind, and a joy-filled life.
Wonderful. Great answer. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Love chatting.
Yeah, and I'm going to let you call it.
It's a wrap.
So thank you once again to our guests, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We always love to hear from you. Don't forget, Portugal The Simple Life also has a magazine, so download it. It's for free. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and as we say in Portugal, sejas bem-vindo. Welcome to The Simple Life.